Okay, y'all, looking at section 13.4, tropisms for plants. So plant tropisms. For this unit in coordination response, we do not take the human side of things and the plant side of things and separate them, because quite frankly, when we look at coordination and response in plants, it's pretty straightforward and we can kind of just sneak it into this unit. We don't have to have two separate units. So diving right in, what is a tropism? And is that a new word that you've probably never heard before? And that's okay. We're going to talk about it. So plants can respond to changes in the environment for their survival as well. They respond to things like light, water, and gravity. Their responses are a lot slower, though, than what's going on in an animal or a human. So much, much slower. They grow either towards a stimulus. Sorry, I can't talk today, guys. They either go towards a stimulus, known as a positive response, or away from a stimulus, that's known as a negative response. And these responses are known as their tropisms. So the tropisms are either positive tropisms or negative tropisms, depending on how they're responding to certain stimuli. Now, the two main stimuli that plants respond to are going to be gravity and light. For gravity, the name of that response is called gravitropism, also known as geotropism. For light, it's known as phototropism. Now, with gravity or gravitropisms, that is growth towards or away from gravity. So the positive side of that would be when a plant grows towards gravity, with gravity. So think about the roots. Roots in a plant grow down, right? The negative response is the growth is away from gravity. The shoot, or the part of the plant that you see above ground, it's growing away from gravity, against gravity, growing up. That's the negative response. For light, which is phototropism, this is growth towards or away from the direction of light. So let's look at the positive response. The positive response is that we have the plant that grows towards light. So the part that you see on the outside of the ground, it's in the sunlight or close to sunlight in some way, and it's going to grow towards the light. The shoot grows up and towards light. But the negative response is when that growth is away from the light. So think about the roots. They like the darkness. They don't like light. They're going to go down into the ground away from the light. So it's important to understand shoots grow up, roots grow down, and just understanding the positive and negative phototropic response, or that positive or negative gravitropic response. Ultimately, we can see this in a depiction. So you can even lay a plant in, a small pot, or lay it on its side, and the plant will actually start to bend and grow up towards the light, and roots will bend and grow down towards darkness if it's buried, or even inside of the pot that it's growing in. And so you can look at the differences in that. And then there's several investigations on tropisms that we will cover in an ed puzzle, and you'll have an activity to do with that. So for these investigations, not so much something I'm going to stop and talk about, because you'll see them on your ed puzzle. And then ultimately we will move on in our next section and talk about auxins. So that's where we're going to wrap up for today. Go ahead, make sure you get the notes down, head on over to your CFU, and then get finished with all the assignments that you have today. Good job, guys.